If you're over 55 and you've been told your blood pressure is high, I want you to listen closely to what I'm about to share with you. Because what I'm going to reveal in the next few minutes could change the way you think about managing your numbers. Not in 6 months, not in a year, but starting as soon as tonight. Now, I know you've probably tried everything. You're taking your medication, you're watching your salt. Maybe you've even cut back on coffee or started walking more. And yet, when you sit down at that doctor's office and they wrap that cuff around your arm, the numbers still aren't where they should be. You see that look on the doctor's face and you start wondering, what else can I possibly do? Here's what most people don't know. There's a habit that millions of seniors do every single night without realizing it's quietly working against them. It's not dramatic. It's not something your doctor probably asked you about. But when you stop it, your body may begin responding sooner than you expect. I'm talking about changes that some people report noticing within days or weeks, not months. And the best part? This doesn't require a gym membership. It doesn't require expensive supplements. It's something you can adjust tonight in your own kitchen in about 2 minutes. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're tired of the frustration every time you check your blood pressure, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what's happening inside your body, why this one habit matters so much, and what you can do about it starting tonight. But before we go any further, I need to be very clear with you about something. What I'm sharing with you today is for educational purposes only. I am not your doctor. I don't know your medical history. I don't know what medications you're taking or what conditions you're managing. So please do not stop taking any medication your doctor prescribed. Do not make major changes to your treatment without talking to your healthcare provider first. What I'm going to share with you are insights based on decades of clinical observation, patterns I've seen in thousands of patients, and research that supports simple, natural approaches that may help support healthy blood pressure. But your safety comes first, always. So if something resonates with you today, bring it to your next doctor's appointment. Ask questions, work together. That's how real progress happens. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about what's really going on. I've been working in medicine for over 2 decades now, and in that time, I've sat across from thousands of seniors people just like you who came in frustrated, confused, and honestly a little bit scared. They've been doing everything right, or at least everything they'd been told to do. But their blood pressure wasn't cooperating, and over the years, I started noticing patterns, not just in the numbers, but in the habits. The little things people were doing at home that they didn't think were connected to their blood pressure, the routines they'd had for years that no one had ever questioned. I'm not here to impress you with credentials or fancy titles. I'm here because I've seen what works. And more importantly, I've seen what gets overlooked. So everything I'm sharing with you today comes from real-world experience with real people who are sitting where you're sitting right now. Now, let's talk about blood pressure for a second, because I think there's a big misunderstanding that trips people up. Most people think of high blood pressure as the problem. But really, it's not the problem, it's a signal. It's your body's way of telling you that something deeper is going on. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a garden hose. If the water pressure coming out of that hose is too high, you got one of two issues. Either there's too much water being forced through, or the hose itself has gotten stiff and narrow. Your blood vessels work the same way. When your doctor measures your blood pressure, they're really measuring how hard your heart has to work to push blood through your arteries. And if those arteries have become stiff, or if they're not relaxing the way they should, your heart has to push harder. That's when the numbers go up. So the question isn't just, how do I lower my blood pressure? The question is, how do I help my blood vessels stay flexible and healthy so my heart doesn't have to work so hard? That's the key. And that's where this nighttime habit comes in. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Margaret. She was 68 when I first met her. Sweet woman, retired school teacher. She'd been on blood pressure medication for about 5 years, but her numbers were still sitting around 150 over 95. Not dangerous enough to panic, but not where anyone wanted them to be. She told me she felt tired all the time, a little foggy, and she was worried, really worried, that she was headed toward a stroke or heart attack like her older sister had. I asked her the usual questions. Diet, exercise, stress. Everything seemed reasonable. She wasn't eating fast food every day. She wasn't sitting on the couch all afternoon. But something wasn't clicking. And then, almost by accident, I asked her what she did at night before bed. And that's when it came out. She told me she had a little routine. Every night, around 9 or 10 p.m., she'd sit down with a cup of tea and a snack, usually crackers, sometimes cheese, sometimes a bowl of cereal, just a little something to settle her stomach before bed. Now, on the surface, that sounds harmless, right? But when I dug a little deeper, I realized what was really happening. And it wasn't just Margaret. I started asking more of my senior patients the same question. And I kept hearing the same pattern over and over again. Here's what most people don't realize. As we age, our blood vessels naturally lose some of their flexibility. The walls of the arteries get a little stiffer. The cells that line the inside of those vessels, called the endothelium, don't work as efficiently as they used to. Now, there's a molecule in your body called nitric oxide. You've probably never heard of it, but it's one of the most important things for healthy blood pressure. Nitric oxide helps your blood vessels relax and open up. When your vessels are open and relaxed, blood flows smoothly. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Your blood pressure stays in a healthy range. But here's the catch. Nitric oxide production goes down as we get older. And certain habits, especially eating certain foods late at night, can interfere with the body's ability to produce it. When you eat a meal or snack that spikes your blood sugar, especially right before bed, a few things happen. Your body releases insulin to manage that sugar, but that spike also creates a little bit of stress inside your blood vessels. It triggers inflammation, it reduces nitric oxide production, and over time, night after night, this pattern makes your blood vessels stiffer and less responsive. So even though you're doing everything else right during the day, this one habit at night is quietly working against you. Now, here's the thing. Your doctor isn't trying to hide this from you. It's not that they don't care. It's that most doctors are stretched incredibly thin. They've got 15 minutes with you, maybe 20 if you're lucky. They've got to check your vitals, review your medications, ask about your symptoms, and try to figure out what's urgent. So they do what the system has trained them to do. They prescribe medication. And medication absolutely has its place. It saves lives. But medication alone doesn't address the root cause. It manages the symptom. And because there's no time to sit down and talk about what you're eating at 9 p.m., or what your stress levels are like, or how well you're sleeping, these habits get missed, not because they're not important. They absolutely are, but because the system just isn't set up to catch them. That's why I'm here, to fill in those gaps, to give you the information your doctor might not have time to explain. And here's the good news. Even if you're 60, 70, 80 years old, your body still has an incredible ability to heal and adapt. You are not too old to see improvement. You are not too far gone. I have seen people in their 70s and 80s make small, consistent changes and watch their blood pressure drop 10, 15, even 20 points over the course of a few weeks. Not because they added another medication, not because they started running marathons, but because they addressed the habits that were quietly sabotaging their progress. Your blood vessels can become more flexible again. Your endothelium can start producing more nitric oxide. Your heart can start working a little less hard. But it requires one thing: consistency. And it starts with one simple change. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, and every night moving forward, I want you to stop eating at least 3 hours before bed. That's it. That's the habit. I know it sounds almost too simple, but research suggests that when you give your body a true fasting window overnight, when you stop flooding it with sugar and insulin right before you go to sleep, something remarkable happens. Your blood vessels get a chance to rest. Inflammation goes down. Nitric oxide production improves. Your body shifts into repair mode instead of constantly processing food. And many people notice changes quickly. Not everyone, not overnight. But within days or weeks, they start seeing their numbers come down. They feel less bloated in the morning. They sleep better. They wake up with more energy. Now, I'm not saying this is a cure. I'm not saying you'll never need medication again. What I'm saying is that this one habit may help support your body's natural ability to regulate blood pressure more effectively. Let me explain why this works on a deeper level. When you eat late at night, especially carbohydrates or sugary foods, your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas releases insulin to bring that sugar back down. But insulin doesn't just affect your blood sugar. It also affects your blood vessels. High insulin levels cause your body to retain sodium. Sodium makes you hold on to water. More water in your bloodstream means more volume. More volume means higher pressure. It's like turning up the faucet when the hose is already full. On top of that, late night eating keeps your digestive system working when it should be resting. That creates low-level stress in your body. Stress hormones like cortisol can stay elevated. An elevated cortisol at night interferes with deep restorative sleep. Poor sleep raises blood pressure all on its own. So when you stop eating 3 hours before bed, you're giving your body a break. You're letting insulin levels drop. You're letting your kidneys release excess sodium and water. You're letting your nervous system calm down, and all of that supports healthier blood pressure. Let me tell you about another patient. I'll call him Robert. He was 72, retired from construction, and he was skeptical about everything. He'd been on 2 blood pressure medications for years, and his doctor kept talking about adding a third. When I suggested he try stopping his nighttime snacking, he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, "Doc, I've been eating before bed for 50 years. You're telling me that's the problem?" I told him. "I'm not telling you it's definitely the problem. I'm asking you to try it for 2 weeks and see what happens." He agreed, reluctantly. 2 weeks later, he came back. His blood pressure had dropped from 155/92 to a 145/92 to a 142/86. Not perfect, but noticeably better. And he hadn't changed anything else. He kept it up. A month later, he was down to 138/84. His doctor was shocked. After 3 months, under close medical supervision, they were able to reduce one of his medications. Now, Robert still takes his medication. He still monitors his blood pressure. But he's living proof that small changes can make a real difference, even when you're in your 70s. Now, if you want to go a step further, there are a few other habits that work beautifully alongside this nighttime fasting window. First, focus on eating more whole foods during the day. Leafy greens, berries, nuts, fatty fish. These foods are rich in magnesium, potassium, and omega-3 fatty acids, which research suggests may help support healthy blood vessels and circulation. Second, move your body gently every day. You don't need to run or lift heavy weights. A 20-minute walk is enough. Movement helps your blood vessels stay flexible and improve circulation. Third, manage stress. Chronic stress keeps your nervous system in fight or flight mode, which keeps your blood pressure elevated. Deep breathing, prayer, meditation, spending time with loved ones, whatever helps you feel calm and grounded. And fourth, stay hydrated. Dehydration thickens your blood and makes your heart work harder. Drink water throughout the day, especially in the morning. But if you only do one thing, start with that nighttime eating window. That's the foundation. Now, let me tell you why some people try this and don't see results. Mistake number 1, they're inconsistent. They do it for 3 nights, don't see a miracle, and give up. Remember, your body needs time to adjust. Give it at least 2 weeks before you evaluate. Mistake number 2, they eat a huge meal right before the 3-hour window and think that's fine. It's not. If you eat a massive dinner at 7 p.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m., your body is still digesting. Keep your evening meal moderate. Mistake number 3, they expect this to replace their medication. It won't. And it shouldn't. This is a supportive habit, not a cure. Work with your doctor. Monitor your blood pressure. Don't make changes on your own. And mistake number 4, they don't track their progress. Get a home blood pressure monitor. Check your numbers at the same time every day. Write them down. That's how you'll know if it's working. I want to be very clear about something again. Do not stop taking your blood pressure medication without talking to your doctor, even if your numbers improve, even if you feel great. Stopping medication suddenly can be dangerous. What you should do is bring your blood pressure log to your next appointment. Show your doctor the changes you've made. Ask if your medication needs to be adjusted. Let them guide that process. Also, if you have diabetes, kidney disease, or any other condition, talk to your doctor before making dietary changes. Everyone's body is different, and what worked for one person might not work for another. Your safety is the priority, always. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Step 1, decide what time you're going to bed. Let's say 10 p.m. Step 2, count back 3 hours. That means your last bite of food should be at 7 p.m. Step 3, eat a balanced dinner. Protein, healthy fats, vegetables. Don't go to bed hungry, but don't stuff yourself either. Step 4. If you get hungry later in the evening, drink water or herbal tea. Chamomile is a great choice. It's calming and won't spike your blood sugar. Step 5. Use that evening time to relax. Read a book. Listen to music. Spend time with family. Let your body wind down naturally. And step 6. In the morning, check your blood pressure and write it down. Do this every day for 2 weeks. Then compare your numbers. That's it. Simple, doable, no extreme changes. Just a gentle shift that gives your body the space it needs to heal. Listen, I know how frustrating it is to feel like you're doing everything right and still not seeing the results you want. I know how scary it is to worry about your heart, your health, your future. But I also know that you are not powerless. You are not stuck. Your body is still capable of healing, of adapting, of getting stronger no matter how old you are. This one habit stopping eating 3 hours before bed might seem small, but small, consistent habits are what create lasting change. Not quick fixes, not magic pills, just steady, simple actions repeated over time. So give this a try. Be patient with yourself. Be consistent. And most importantly, be hopeful. You've got this. If this video helped you, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and share this with someone you care about who's dealing with high blood pressure. Because the more people who know about this, the more lives we can change together. And if you have questions or want to share your progress, leave a comment below. I read every single one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your health seriously. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself.